And welcome back to Nobody's Watching. I'm your host, Braxton Zenobio, joined by...
Deacon Tuttle. Good to be back with you, Braxton.
Oh, dude, it's a mega pleasure to be back. Mega pleasure. I don't know why I said that. I don't normally say that.
Mega mind.
Dude, how have you been? It's been a long time since we've done one of these episodes.
Yeah, we've been cooking in the kitchen for a bit. I guess it's been not so long since the last upload, but behind the scenes, it's felt like an eternity.
Dude,
so it's good to be back on the mic.
Yeah.
We're here. We're gonna put up a fight.
We're gonna just fight on air. Me and you.
We're just gonna go.
You guys are just gonna hear skin smacking of the fight kind, not the sexual. Anyway,
definitely not that.
Definitely not that.
But yes,
dude, what have you been into lately? What's been going on for Deacon?
What have I been into? I think I've been. You know, we talked about a couple of weeks ago about my entertainment phases, and I'm not in one right now. I don't think.
That's right.
So I've just been enjoying friends' company, hanging out with people. It's good to be on summer break, so just doing what I can. Been seeing family a lot more, which has been nice.
That's been good.
Getting back to a more consistent work schedule has been great.
Yeah.
And just getting ready for the summer season.
Totally.
Got to start tanning.
Oh, tanning. Have you gone tanning yet?
I haven't, no. Just the natural, me stepping out in the light and some kind of magic's working. I'm not burnt yet.
We tanned the other day. Remember when the pollen was for the week?
I tanned a little bit. I guess I did, yeah. But, I just been chilling. What about you?
In my head, we've done a lot. I've done a lot. I went home for a bit. School kind of ended. I don't know if we touched on that last episode. It's just been so long. Yeah. It's been so long. But, went home, got to spend quality time with the family, got to see my dad's band play, so shout out Mark, he's on the last episode. If you guys love that episode at the Flotation, if you guys loved seeing him on, give this episode a like. If you're on YouTube, if you're on other platforms, just listen to it more than once, maybe give us some more listeners.
Drop a link.
Drop a link somewhere in your friends, your Facebook group chats or your group me's or whatever you guys use. But yep, did that. That was really, really fun. Got into some, not a physical altercation, but like a mental mind altercation with a gal there that I perceived was like trying to like get in my dad's, realm, and what I mean by that is, trying to like, I thought she was trying to, bottom line, I thought she was trying to put $1 in his belt loop.
Pulling a fast one.
Pulling a fast one because there's a history of women, because my dad, look at me, I'm beautiful. And I'm just playing. But, my dad's a good-looking guy, and he's a great singer, very charismatic, and so it's, a lot of women are just attracted to him for some reason, and the reason I just gave, actually. And so, this gal, I thought she was trying to put $1 in his belt loop. I really don't know what she was doing, but I walk over there, I'm like, oh, you don't need a new song that bad or another song that bad. And she was just like, oh my gosh, I would never, try and touch your father. I'd hope my sons would do the same thing you're doing. And I'm like, okay. And I don't know. It was just all weird. But it was a good time. We all started playing Diablo 2 on the video game side of things, which has been pretty fun. I was talking to my brother Addison, and I was telling him I like it because I don't have to use my brain very much. Yeah. Like, I just push like a couple of buttons, and it's like I can sit back in my chair. There's two types of games. You sit up and you sit back.
It is, yeah.
This is a sit back kind of game. It has like good challenge, but not like Elden Ring or Dark Souls.
Okay, do you find yourself listening to podcasts during playing, or is it just like, I'm going to turn my brain off and just like not even think about it? Like, you're thinking about the game, but you're not at the same time. You know what I mean? Or is it like purely background and then you enjoy the game on the side, Because there's things like that too.
Well, here's the thing. Like, normally it is me just like listening to something or let my mind go. Like when I play, I don't know, like Lego Star Wars. It's not really like a taxing game. Yeah. Like I press square and X, to jump and hit stuff, right? Collect little coins and stuff, but this doesn't take a lot of brain power, so that's when I listen to stuff. And so I just like I listen. I've been really getting into the stock market and trying to do my due diligence and research on where I should put my money, and but so I listened to a bunch of that. I listened to that this morning when I played some Lego Star Wars, but games like Skyrim or or Elden Ring, even though it's a harder game, or Diablo 2, right? I'm like a really big fantasy guy. Like, I don't like Not like, oh, I'm gonna go dress up as an elf outside.
You're not
you know?
LARPing.
I'm not LARPing. You know, I mean, I would once. Like, I would definitely go. I would definitely go to a LARP. That would be honestly pretty funny.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not something I do every weekend, right? But like, the way I look at the world is very romantic. Like me and my girlfriend Taylor, right? We went on a walk today to the river, over by the pond, that little bridge that I always say I was going to go. And I went and checked it out, and we just sat and looked at the water. And the way I look at the world is so romantic, and I see it like how you know, when you watch Lord of the Rings and they get those landscape shots of wherever it's out in New Zealand, right? Yeah, of the hills, right? I see it like that. And so in Diablo, it's a top down game, so I kind of imagine what my guy would see around.
Really?
I like to like think about, you know, what he sees, because like I love the fantasy world. I love like knights and like wizards and stuff, and like weird dragons and skeletons and stuff. So that's kind of where my mind goes. And
okay, side note. Actually, no, it's not a side note. Middle Earth, or would you rather live in, what's the broad of
Elder Scrolls? It's
called
Tamriel.
It's Tamriel, that's right.
Tamriel. Okay. It has a couple different locations in it. I would rather go into Tamriel. Middle Earth is cool, but I think when I'm thinking about where I'd like to be, Tamriel is a lot more vast and diverse. Like there's like whole sections. The way the map is sectioned out in all of Tamriel is, you know, there's different lands. Like there's different, like there's entire race of cat people, Khajiit, right, and Argonians in the Black Marsh, right, and in the Shivering Isles, or not the Shivering, I can't remember the name. It's been so long since I played those games, because, you know, it takes forever to get those games out. But and there's a lot of mystery to them. Like when I watch Lord of the Rings, I feel like I know all of Middle Earth, right? But when it comes to games like Skyrim, everyone talks about Tamriel like you're supposed to know what it is, but then there's so much mystery. Like there's never been a game aside from the Elder Scrolls Online where you can go there, but like there's never been like a super big detailed game like Skyrim or Oblivion or Morrowind where you go to the Black Marsh, where the home of the Argonians are, and that's my favorite race in the game. I always play as the lizard people because they're so cool, and they're apparently aliens in the world. But good lore there. But yeah, that's what I've been kind of doing. We had our movie premiere, which I'd love to talk about that with our guest. I think maybe this is a great way for you to introduce our guest.
Yeah, so joining the show on our fourth episode here, our third guest overall, it would be Alexander Walsh.
Woo! Hey, what's up?
More commonly known as Walsh. Walsh baby.
Walsh baby.
Yeah, that name stuck.
You have a great podcast voice, man. Can you just lean forward a little bit and go, "Hi, I'm Alex."
Hi, I'm Alex.
Well, a lot of people recently have been complimenting your voice. How does that feel? Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever just been like...
I don't know. I think most people, like, when they hear their voice, like, oh, I don't have a good voice. But then other people see that, because whenever anyone hears their voice, they're like, oh, no.
Oh.
But yeah, so when I hear that compliment, I'm like, oh, I don't have a good voice. But...
No, dude, you do.
It's very smooth.
Like that, I'm excited to, when we're done with this episode, to play that back to you to say, "Hi, I'm Alex." Like, I'm excited for my ears to feel that, you know?
Have you considered ASMR?
Absolutely not. I hate that.
You could try some right now.
My nightmares.
Yeah, so how does it feel to be on the show here?
I'm hyped. When this was announced, this podcast, I'm like, oh, I'm 100% in. I really want to. I love watching podcasts like First Take, Undisputed, or Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan Show, stuff like that.
He's kind of mid compared to ours.
He is.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, I've always been hyped, so.
Sure.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, dude. It's hyped to... So many developments have happened, like, in the span of just, like, a short time of a year, right?
Yeah.
Between just you and us and our roommates, right? Between us three, for sure, but not even that, just, like, our friend groups and our, you know, like, our lives, you know. Ask us a year ago, we're separate, and now they're, like, completely intertwined, which is crazy. Yeah. That's so cool.
So how is it being a new Goon member? And for those that don't know yet, I mean, I feel like we've thrown the term around a lot, but there's been a core group of Goons, and you've been incorporated into that recently as of the last year or so.
Goons meaning our roommates. Yeah. We just call ourselves that.
Yeah, so this next year, I'm going to be living with the Goons, and before they would always call me an honorary Goon, or like the adopted Goon, basically, because I would always hang out with them. So just to actually get to live with them next year, it's awesome. Looking forward to that. I've always felt like I got along with these guys, so felt pressured or forced to change to get along with them. So
Sure.
So how did you meet us? Did you just wound up on our doorstep and we just picked you up basically and took you in, or
Like Peter Potter?
yeah, like Peter Potter basically.
yeah, actually that did happen. No. Well, we all go to Resonate Church, so shout out Resonate.
Shout out.
Shout out.
So we went to this mission trip, sort of discipleship trip called Elevate, and I already knew a lot of them. I knew Braxton, I knew Deacon. I went to Elevate with them. I felt we all lived together, and so we all got close through Elevate. And after that, I think our friendships blossomed beautifully. So, yeah.
I mean,
but we knew each other before that.
Yeah. So I took a peek at what some of the questions Deacon wrote, but like in that question, even more specifically, like what was like your first impression? I think we should all go around and share our first impressions of you, and then like you can share yours of us, and then we can share ours of you, and then we can just talk about it. I think that'd be really funny. I think a lot of people would think that's funny to listen to. So
who wants to go first?
You man, you're the guest, baby.
Okay. I honestly thought, my freshman year I definitely hung out with the Bender boys mostly, Johnny, Noah, Garen, but yeah, I thought you guys were kind of the too cool for school kids.
We were.
Not gonna lie, and
We were better than everyone.
we still are.
that was my impression.
Our 70, what is it, 75 listeners?
75 listeners
75
so far.
Listeners.
Estimated audience of 25. They're sticking around.
Yeah, my impression was I wasn't gonna be friends with you guys, and you guys were D-bags. But then I slowly started to talk with you guys. I'm like, oh, they're not that bad.
Nice.
Fun story. Braxton and I didn't used to get along, but now we do. Now I love Braxton. So
That's not a fun story.
But here's the thing.
so it's not a tragic story. It's a love story, basically.
But here's the thing, Alex. I don't think I ever like had a moment where I did not like you. It's not like we didn't get along. We just like there was maybe
we butted heads. That's a better.
But when? I only remember one time we butted heads.
I don't know. I remember a few times there was tension.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's my point of view.
What was your time? The only time I can remember we like quote butt heads was when we were at the Bender house and we were talking about Star Wars, and you're like, oh, Star Wars is based off of Hinduism, and I go, no, it's Taoism, because I'm a religious studies major, and literally I like learned about it that week, and you go, no, it's Hinduism, and we like kind of went back and forth on that, and it's stupid debate, but I remember you getting pissed off. And me just getting like, oh, okay, this guy, what?
There's another time we were by the Cirque Theater, and we're above, and we were talking about careers, and I was saying, oh, I want to do this for a career, and he said, oh, I want to travel the world and share the gospel, and I was talking about how this job makes this much money in this job, and I think I was being a D-bag, and I was rubbing it in his face, and Braxton did not like that. I don't know. There's just a few times that we butted heads.
I don't remember that, but I totally believe it happened. I totally, I can't remember what I had for breakfast, so I take your word for it. But yeah.
The moral of the story is we love each other now, and we're good. So.
I mean, maybe. No,
maybe.
I love you so much. Alex actually is one of my favorite people. When I approached him about this, I was just excited to have you on, man. It's good.
It's a different kind of tension here now.
Yeah, it's like a sexual.
Before, yeah.
No, I'm just joking.
Sorry, everybody.
Podcasts just keep getting more and more like sus as they go on. Like when we had my dad on, I think that was like the tip of the sus meter, and then we're just going downhill now. We're just gonna be
the more comfortable you are with your people, it's gonna be like.
Listen to the opening. Is I say skin friction or something like that, or skin smacking, or I don't even know. We got skinwalkers. But anyway, first impressions of Deacon. Go for it.
Honestly, I just thought he was really shy. I didn't really know how much, but he looked cool and he seemed nice and he seemed pretty shy. But I think slowly I started learning that he had the same interests that I did. He loved movies, he loved video games, he loved sports, and so I'm like, okay, this guy seems cool. So I think our first time hanging out, I invited him over to my house and we watched Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, which is
Dark of the Moon.
I
wouldn't watch Revenge of the Fallen.
Yeah, it was Dark of the Moon.
Why? Because it's the best one. Your stupid eyes can't.
Honestly, I can't comprehend the movie. It's too high level for me.
Revenge of the Fallen's the best one.
Okay.
The first one can suck an egg.
That's okay. I think 3's the best.
The 3 is the worst.
No,
actually,
I
do.
1, 3, 2 for me.
Everything past 3 is bad.
Okay. We can all agree.
We can all agree that everything.
Well,
past...
Bumblebee.
Okay, Bumblebee was a good.
Yeah.
It's a Venom movie.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie.
They couldn't replace Shyla. They couldn't replace Shyla.
Yeah, Shy was a great. Megan and Shy were great. They had really good chemistry, probably because Michael Bay forced them to have. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, Michael Bay
but side note, for those of you that remember, it's Dark in the Moon is the third one, right? Mm-hmm. Dark in the Moon. I remember when me and my mom, my whole family, right, we went to go see this, and my mom, I'm sitting next to her, and it's the scene where like, you know, the Autobots lost, and it shows the city like being destroyed and people getting vaporized and their bones getting zapped and stuff. And I go, Mom, is this what hell looks like? And she goes, I don't know, sweetie. Oh, good. That's just a very vivid memory for me. So
that would stick out to me too.
I was talking to my mom because she's been listening to them, and she's like, "It's funny the way you remember things because I remember them a lot differently than you do." And so we were making the jokes about how our parents are our editors.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, never mind.
No,
it's
really?
Not, okay. Yeah. So when I was talking about my upbringing when I lived in an apartment, we weren't like poor.
Oh.
I thought we were poor because it's just the way I comprehended it as a kid. We moved in there because we were building a house, right?
Yeah.
Which I knew that. We all knew that. But I thought, in my head, I'm like, oh, we spent way too much money on the new house, so we can't afford to stay in the house we already lived in prior. But actually, the people that bought our old house wanted to move in as soon as possible, so they moved into an apartment, and there was going to be for like 2 months, or a month or 2 months, I can't remember. But it changed because the house just took a little bit longer until it went for like 6 to 8 months. Mm-hmm. And so I always thought I was poor because like Addison, my brother, and I, we were talking, and he like remembers eating like donuts and cheese sticks for breakfast, and me eating like cold hot dogs and like cold egg and waffles and stuff like. And so I just assumed, I'm like, we're poor. We didn't have beds. We didn't have this, so we were poor. But I guess I just remembered it. Anyway, back to freaking you. That was a total side tangent. I keep doing that.
I love it. Childhood memories form differently than when we're...
Yeah,
that's true.
You see a whole thing's new perspective.
Yeah. So. Those were my impressions of Deacon, though. Seemed like we had similar interests, and seemed a little shy. Yeah, I think those were my first impressions. Yeah.
Deacon, what was your first impression of Walsh?
I was constantly... I don't want to say up in arms, but I was like, I can't talk with this guy. Because every single opinion of ours clashed. So I knew that we had the similar interests, but that was basically it. Once we got to the in-depth parts of it, I was like, I don't agree with what he's saying at all. And a lot of that was superficial sports stuff. So during that time, I have a vivid memory of us arguing about the NFC Championship game that year, which was going to be Green Bay and San Fran. And we were just talking about what we thought the outcome was going to be. And I was like, he's so wrong. He's so wrong about everything. And then, but you were so firm in your opinion. And you're like, oh, I know my analytics and stuff. And just a lot of my opinions about Alex came from sports arguments, which aren't the best barometer for whether or not you're going to have a good friendship for somebody.
That is very true.
Because everything was so surface level, but I'm like, he's probably cool, but he's just kind of pissing me off. So I just didn't want to get to know him more.
He's cool, but he's kind of a know-it-all.
And then and then this is something that, you probably want to touch on at some point, but I've apologized for it in the past, but I judged you based on your looks a little bit. Because when I saw that you got the tats, they look really nice and everything. But I combined with your attitude and me not really knowing you, I was like, okay, this guy's kind of, I don't know about him.
Christian D-bag.
Yeah. So I was like,
new believer on the block.
So that was very just like a one moment. I remember I seeing you when you walked into Bender. That was the first time I saw it, and I was like, And I still don't really know you well at all. So that was just like a split second judgment thing, which was totally on me because I didn't get to know you at all.
Yeah.
So, those are my first thoughts.
Yeah. I think similarly to Deacon, I didn't know what to think because Deacon and I, as you know, we're just two of the same being, just split for some reason. Our minds are the same. We think the same. Everything. There's like minor differences about us. There's probably big differences about us, but I can't see them. But anyway, knew we had the same interests, but just we didn't meet eye to eye on anything. And like, you're a very stubborn person, and I am too. And I think, both of us have gotten better at that over time. Excuse me, I'm having
You got the hiccups.
I got a hiccup attack from this Truly. We're all drinking Trulies right now.
Yes, sir.
It's sponsored. It's actually not sponsored.
It's not.
It's sponsored by ourselves, actually, Suncadia.
Literally. Yeah. But actually, this episode's sponsored by Goon Productions.
Always.
Shoutout.
There we go. Shout out Goon Productions. Love to talk about that later. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I kind of like just knew that I was stubborn and you were stubborn, and I just like kind of like clashed heads. And but also similarly, Deacon, I did judge you by like how you carried yourself, because when I'd come over to the Bender house, I have this specific memory of you on the couch with your feet up in the air, reading your Bible open faced. And for those of you guys that don't know, Alex and I went to rival high schools, and so like I knew of him and I knew of his antics, but I mean, I just like to see him transform into like this God honoring man so quickly. I was like, I don't know, this is a little sus. So I honestly, I'll be transparent, I thought you were a Bible thumper in the beginning, because you were like, I want to be a good village leader. I want to be a good disciple so I can be like a good village leader like Noah. And I'm like, okay, guy. But fast forward to this last summer?
Yep.
Yeah, last summer. We got put in the same room for Elevate, and we started hanging out with you. And I realized that Alex, I'll say this definitively right now, you're the funniest person I know. And you still are. Like, your humor hasn't it hasn't lessened.
Oh, no.
And that title has been held by Owen Ott for a long time now. Best friend of 20 years. And you just come along within a year, and you knock him off the pedestal.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, you earned it, so thank you for making me laugh and bust a gut all the time, man. Because you're just epic. Your personality, your thoughts, like, not that your thoughts are funny or your personality is, like, laughable, but, like, you're charismatic. You like know when to place jokes and when to be serious, and like sometimes you place seriousness in the scenario for jokes, and it just makes it so much more funny. Like today, I can't remember what you said, but you just like intervened in a discussion, and then you changed topics.
He goes, I switch on a dime every single time, no matter what it is.
Thank you, ADHD.
No, I don't understand that. It's good. But I love that about you, and so I mean, yeah. That's good. That's real good. Oh, jeez.
Now you've graduated to Goon member. Now we're all living together. Yep. So there's that.
Yeah, dude.
Yes, there is. I'm hyped.
What are you most excited for as a Goon? Like to live with me, Deacon, Owen, and Marcus, and now you.
I think not always having to walk to your house. I'll just be there.
Sure.
This year I was just at your house more than my house.
Yeah.
And so I won't have that anymore.
Take that,
I'll be living
Nolan.
with you guys. So sorry, Nolan.
Got him, Nolan.
Love you.
Get called out.
We got the traitor over here.
Love you.
Yeah, I won't have to walk to your house anymore, so that's cool.
That's the biggest thing.
He goes transportation. That was
Yeah,
actually
he goes convenience.
Quality time. I'll go quality time. That's one of my main love.
He's a QT guy.
Quality time. So
Deacon, these edits are gonna be good. Our volume levels are spiking.
Hey man, I'm here.
Drastically, man. That's good. Deacon, what else do you got, man?
Yeah, tell us a little about yourself. What are your biggest passions? Let's let the audience know your inner workings here.
Oh man, that's a hard question. I'm a big movie guy. I love watching movies. Ever since I was a kid, my dad had a huge movie case, and since I was like 4 years old, we would watch movies, and so the hobbies of the father often go to the son. So I love movies.
That's good. That's good. Actually, okay, I'm gonna break off that a little bit. Usually it's sins of the father, but I like hobbies of the father because that's actually wholesome.
I've noticed a lot of things my parents like, I like, so I've started to notice that. I think when I was younger, I kind of rejected that, like, I'm not gonna be anything like my parents, but eventually it happens.
Yeah, me too.
I love movies. I like music. I love sports games. I am obsessed with sports. I'll say it right now.
What's your favorite sport?
That's difficult. Baseball or football? Probably football. Playing baseball, watching football.
Definitely.
So
I have the same thing.
Those are your favorites?
Yeah, baseball's definitely by far my favorite to play.
Not basketball.
No, I definitely like playing baseball more than basketball for sure, and I like watching football more. Yeah.
Wow.
And I think my favorite thing to do in general is probably go in the water. Whether I'm on a boat, if I'm swimming on a kayak, just even if I'm just on the beach looking at water. I think ever since I was a kid, I've been obsessed with water, and so catch me by the water, anywhere, lake, ocean, boat, I'm there.
Yeah.
Too bad in Washington it's only sunny 2 months of the year. So.
Well, check this out. Fun fact for you about water, pulp lifestyle. It's water is within. It has contextual and spiritual importance in every noted religion to man. Water is like a focal point to it. Like even Christianity, Buddhism, Taoism, all the isms, all the anities, all the yeah. But it's integral. It's integral, and I'm similarly, because we grew up in the same area.
Yeah. Water
Water is like a huge thing. Boating, swimming, kayaking, paddleboarding, rope jumping, cliff jumping. You know, inner tubing. It's fun and it's like natural. Like this walk I was talking about when I was sitting by the river, watching this water. And Taylor asked me, "What's your favorite thing about nature?" I'm like, "Well, water never stops moving. Like even in a lake, there's something that's pouring into it, that's moving it, and it's being absorbed. Like if water's in your hand, it's being absorbed. It's moving into your skin. I mean, it's finding a crevice to get out. It's so cool. Anyway,
I love water. Yeah.
That's cool.
It's so like natural and like beautiful, fun to swim in. Yeah.
I
So many things. Just think about it. The amount of things you can do in water. It's just
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is gonna be nice, Deacon, when you do the timestamps, and this is gonna be water.
Water.
Just
Water.
Just water.
Just water.
Water. Some other hobbies. I love studying history. I think growing up, history is one of my favorite topics to study. I'm a law major, so I love studying law. And big passion for justice. I love politics. I love debating. I love debating anything and everything. And I'm very stubborn, like Braxton said, so I tend to butt heads with people. But I think my biggest hobby is just quality time with my friends. So whatever we're doing, if I'm with my friends, I'm going to have a good time. So, big extrovert. But
Alex,
that's how I describe my hobbies.
A new development has happened in like the past 5 months, where I can't remember how long you two have been together, but you have a lovely lady at your side.
I do.
Yes.
What
I
you,
do.
you know, you call her, you know, what's her name? You know what?
Her name is Taya Kraus. Shout out.
Oh yeah.
Shout out, Taya. I know you're listening.
Kraus in the house.
Yes.
Dude.
Elevate, babe.
Elevate.
Elevate
She's your Elevate
babe.
babe. Is that when you knew?
Well, we went to Elevate together.
Was that when you knew you had feelings though?
No, I don't think
And
so.
is she gonna be pissed for talking about this on the
Honestly,
podcast?
I thought she was cute when I was a barista freshman year, and I saw her come up.
Wait, when you were a priest?
Barista.
Oh, barista. I thought you said when I was a
Nah,
priest.
No.
Back in the day.
He's clergy over
Don't do
here.
the fun. No. I was a barista freshman year, and Taya would come by, and I'm like, oh, she's kind of cute.
I've actually never heard that.
Never heard that
before.
at all either. I wonder
Yeah.
if she knows that too.
Yeah, she knows.
Oh, okay.
You know Taya. But
Oh,
yeah,
that's nice.
We've been dating for more than 2 months. We went on our first date, I think 3 months ago, and so yeah, it's been awesome.
What's a special message you want to say to her right now?
Yeah,
when
that's
she
literally
listens
what
to
I was
this?
thinking. Mind link.
Mind link.
Taya, I am blessed to be dating a godly woman who appreciates everything about me, even my weird side. So yeah, I like you lots, Taya.
That is so nice,
So
dude.
wholesome.
Shout out Kraus.
Yeah, shout out.
Oh, it's a good little love letter.
And she's
to her.
unfiltered, which is hilarious.
Oh, it is
I'm
really
also
funny.
unfiltered, so it's a good match.
It's nice. That's nice.
Yes.
You mentioned your burning passion for justice, and I know we were laughing about the phrasing of burning passion for justice, but it is something very serious and dear to your heart, and I would love to hear why you have it, and like what is like your focus and your desire for the justice system. I guess I don't know.
Well, I think a couple reasons. I grew up with 2 uncles in the police department, sheriff's department actually. One of them is not related, one of them is. And so I think growing up around them, my uncle would always stop by my house with his lunch bag for his breaks, and I'd be like, hey, did you catch any bad guys? And he would be like, no or yes, and he would talk to me, and I had to be in his patrol car. He would put handcuffs on me. It's just, I love my uncle, so yeah, that
I'm sorry for laughing. In today's world, that just gets sus, 20 years ago,
Hey, I was 8 years old, so
20. Wait, Alex, stop.
What?
This
We're gonna have to play this episode
I
first.
know
We're
we're
not
not
bad.
cutting it in with the E on
Get
it.
your mind out of the gutter.
It's not in the gutter. It's just in a podcast gutter.
Okay, so yeah, anyways, I had 2 amazing uncles who were law enforcement. What? Are we laughing because of the creeping uncle thing?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Wait, you didn't know what we were laughing at?
Okay, I thought it was... Okay.
Deacon, these levels are spiking. It's like Dragon Ball.
This is like all of our conversations.
It's true. It gets out of hand real quick. Okay.
That's one of the main reasons.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I loved crime shows growing up, so
Yeah.
that's part. Another reason was this is like a sensitive topic, but my mom dated 2 people who were abusive to her and my brother and I, and saying that just pissed me off and really made me hate men like that who abuse women and put their hands on women. So I think like just wanting justice for people like my mom and protection for kids like Max and I who didn't have protection. So. And my uncle was able to save my mom a couple times, so that's awesome. But yeah, I think that's the main reason, probably.
Screw guys like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
It's like now that you've aged, right? We know your origin. Now you've aged. Like, there's, a lot of, I would say the justice system right now is like a boat in a bowl full of water, and it's being splashed around from side to side right now. What do you think about that right now? Like, what do you think of the justice system? We got a lot of defunding happening. We have a lot of people fighting for more protection. We have a lot of people trying to take away guns. We have a lot of people trying to change a lot of things. I mean, we had one of the most controversial overturns happen today. We don't have to talk about that. I know we talked about not talking about that today.
Yeah.
But stuff in the past, like what?
Like Rodney King, George Floyd.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Someone who wants to be a cop and
so I think I can't decide if I want to be a cop or a lawyer, but I do want to be in the justice system. I think someone who sees all this stuff. I mean, I think what I just see is we have imperfect people, sinful people working in a imperfect system, and until people are perfect, which will never happen. I think there will always be injustice and horrible things in our justice department because people are sinful and bad, and not everyone's good. And so, but yeah, I think the last few years with cell phones and video cameras have really shown the corruption and the depravity in some police officers, and not even that, politicians and attorneys or business people who don't pay their taxes. I mean, we can go on and on. There's just a lot of bad people.
Truly.
Yeah, it's sad, but I think that's just the reason why people do need to step into these positions who have integrity and who love people and don't want to compromise and don't have a temper. That's important.
Yeah. What are your reservations when you're deciding whether or not you want to be a police officer or possibly a lawyer? Like, where's your head at in that decision?
I was pretty dead set on being in law enforcement since I was a kid. I think one of the more biggest reservations is not just recent controversies, but just the danger level of being a police officer. And I want to raise a family one day, and I know how hard it is to have a family member who's a police officer, and that is definitely a reality. And I took a few classes about being an attorney this year, and they really spiked my interest. And I'm like, I can make just as much of an impact being a prosecutor for a state and locking up people who are bad than a police officer. So I'm like, yeah, why not think about that too? So
you get to dress nice
and more money. So, but that doesn't really matter. But
yeah,
it does matter.
You're really that's really cool. Like, I didn't even know that until this moment, and so I think that's really cool. A world that you want to a cop, a prosecutor in a world that doesn't want them. Mainly police officers. And you want to be a cop in a world, potentially be a cop in a world that doesn't want them anymore. And so I think that's really cool and very noble of you to, our roommate Owen wants to do the exact same thing. Yep. And, I see him live on the day-to-day, so I'm like, noble things you guys are doing. Noble things, wanting to get in there and make that change happen and bring, because we're all men of God and firm believers in Jesus Christ. And so I think the more guys like you and Owen that bring Christ into the police force, I think the better things will happen, right?
I feel like the younger generation who become police, who are more open-minded, who are more college educated, I think policing will get better. I'm not saying it's horrible right now, but there's just that few bad apples saying I really believe that. So
yeah, sure.
It's good. Yeah. Be a man of character and be a light to the world.
And whatever you do,
Yeah.
You could be a garbage man, love Jesus and share the gospel.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, you talked about it a little bit earlier, right? You're big into movies. but we know you're a huge Batman fan.
Mm-hmm.
So where did that love come from?
I think it just starts with my love for justice.
I knew it.
Transition. That's why.
I think, honestly, he just embodies justice and vengeance, and like, you know, he protects. He gets mad because his parents were murdered. You know, my mom was abused. Like,
Yeah.
The first like PG-13 movie I ever watched was Batman Begins. That's the first one. The first movie my dad let me watch, and I think my brother and I watched it, and we were jumping off the sofa and jumping off the couches, trying to fly. It was just awesome. So I think that was one of the first movies I ever watched, and yeah, I just fell in love with the character and like what he stands for. Yeah, I can't talk enough about Batman, but yeah, I just like how he stands for justice and truth and vengeance, and which I don't know, vengeance isn't always good, but.
It's got to be a pointed sword, you know.
Yeah.
You gotta swing the sword of vengeance in a proper way and at the right people, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. But we did going off, you know, what Deacon segued here. We did prepare some Batman. We wanted to rank the Batman movies, and we all have different lists and different opinions. And he talked about debating with us today, and I was really hoping we'd capture something like that on the air today. So,
oh man, this could go.
We're at 36 minutes. This could take us to the whole hour, man.
It's good.
Honestly, I want to hear your list, and we can all talk about your list, and then we could just go around and do each other's lists.
Yeah.
Okay.
Strap in, folks.
We could all present our, because it's all 10 Batman movies. We could all present our number 10. Yeah. Then discuss, and then we could move on to the next one. Yeah? We go 10, and then we go 9,
yeah, good idea.
And then 8.
Yeah, that's good.
That's okay. Idea. You can start first.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I have an honorable mention, because none of you, you haven't seen it, Walsh, but it's the Adam West Batman 1966 movie. I remember seeing it as a small baby child. So that's really all I have. I just remember the TV show a little bit more, the booms and the pows and the punches. But honorable mention. But my number 10 is Batman and Robin. It's the lowest on the list. When I looked up all the Batman movies, so I could create the list and have them all in front of me, literally the image for the Batman and Robin was Barbara Gordon, Batman and Robin. But it put like a psychedelic filter on them so their bodies are moving. I'm like, everyone hates this damn movie. It's so sad.
Oh my gosh.
It's just, honestly, it's a bad Batman movie, in my opinion. I don't know if any of you guys have any disagreements.
No, I don't think so. I think firmly established. We're probably all going to put this in 10.
Yeah, that's my least favorite.
That's your 10?
It's garbage.
Yeah, that's right.
I think I liked it when I was like 10 years old because, Mr. Freeze and stuff, but then I grew older, I'm like, bat nipples, and I'm like, what the heck?
Okay, I don't mind the nipples, I'll be real.
Yeah. Okay, here's the thing. We can't hate on Batman and Robin because the bat nipples were present in Forever. They're just less defined.
It's true.
Because they are on the suit
It's
in Forever.
true.
They're just not highlighted.
But the first scene in Batman and Robin is zooming in on his crotch and his nipples. Okay?
That's a joke.
Yeah, and an ass. That's a director's choice.
Yeah, come on. Well,
or cinematographer's choice.
Yeah, and that
Wait,
director.
really?
Yeah, Joel Schumacher.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, hey, Yep.
When he said a bad Batman movie, it's a bad movie. It doesn't work. The lines are cheesy. I laugh when I'm not supposed to laugh.
The Ice Age. I thought Poison Ivy was hot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Back in the time, I thought she was hot.
Very big crush
I don't
for
now. I haven't for about 18 years of my life. So
yeah, that faded.
Uma Thurman. Yeah. It's firmly at my number 10. In least. It's my least favorite. I'll give it a couple put-ups. I do like the colorful nature of the movie. Yeah. Very 70s inspired Batman stuff, which was kind of fun. I'm okay with a light-hearted Batman story, but he shouldn't be the lighthearted thing about it in a way. Like, I want some more darkness in it, and I mean, that's not the indicator of a bad movie or a good movie tone, but this just did not. None of it meshed well. That's what I got.
The dark, the happy Batman story. It's almost like they switched Batman and Robin. Yeah. Robin was a dark freaking character. Yeah. He turned on Batman. He was gonna go be Poison Ivy's slave.
Yeah.
And then Batman was over here being like, "I'll order a pizza," Bat credit card. Like, that was funny. Yeah. I still laugh at that today. But he smiled way too much, and he was more Superman like Batman.
He was.
Yeah.
And you know what? Clooney on paper, not bad casting.
No.
He could have done really good with a great script, and if he actually cared a little more. Yeah. But he was there for the check.
Yeah.
And
also
to promote choice.
Yeah.
So.
And at that time, movies in that specific era some of them were spotty. Yeah. So especially comic book movies at that time were spotty, and weren't taken very serious. Yeah, Deacon, do you want to give us your number 9 and then we can just go?
Yeah, I guess to restate this for me, this is personally what I enjoy the most or don't enjoy.
Yeah.
So I'm not going critical on this, but just my own opinions. I would put Batman 89 at 9. Very, very low compared to what some people feel about this movie. My favorite parts would be, I do like how Tim Burton it is. All the set design and the costuming is fantastic in the movie. The way Gotham looks is great. I love the costume. All the aesthetic stuff about the movie I like. But when it comes down to characters, the dynamics, it's just not what I think of when I think of Batman. Like, I'm very cool with Tim Burton's version of Batman. It's just not how I see the character. Yeah. And for what it did for Batman on film, I'll always be thankful for. Because with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, I don't think we would have a lot of what we got now if it wasn't for the inspiration, because it kind of brought Batman to the mainstream for a lot of people. And the soundtrack is amazing too.
Oh my gosh, Prince.
But it's just not like, when I think of a Batman movie, I'm not like, I want to watch 89. But I did have some fond memories growing up watching it. So, number 9 for me.
Yeah. Similarly, number 9 for me is Batman 89. Reading this list, I'm curious to see if our list is the same, Deacon, because we are the same organism.
I think we're going to get really close.
I think we're going to have 1 or 2 off. Yeah. But Batman 89, I agree. Tim Burton's vision, I think, is spectacular, but I think for some reason it comes down to comic book movies and how they're written at them. Like back then, like just the characters, the lines are a little cheesy, and that's it. But gotta respect to Keaton and and Nicholson and Tim Burton too. That took a lot of gumption to comic book movies weren't really it then. So like he took a lot of. It wasn't like Kevin Feige. Where he's like, here's the next Marvel blockbuster, we're about to get $85 billion in the box office, or $85 million in the box office first night of showing it, right? Yeah. So, Tim Burton was taking a risk, because I really liked how he's like, I'm not going to play it safe. I'm just going to make it freaking weird and my thing. Yeah. And, like, it set the standard for a lot of what Gotham City was in the next 2 movies after that, or the next 3 after that, which was kind of cool, right? In Returns and Forever. Yeah. Right, it kind of kept the same like weird like misshapenness. Yeah. So I like that, and also Jack Nicholson's portrayal of the Joker. I think it is like when I think of the Lego Joker, I think of Jack Nicholson's Joker. Okay. And like when I think of old like 70s comics of the Joker, I also think of the Jack Nicholson Joker, because I think he's a great like take off the page and put it on screen. I think he was as close as to like classic Joker.
Yeah, like a Death in the Family Joker.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, yep. Something like that. Like, and he really is freaking creepy. Like the scene where he is like you first see him as the Joker is very, very creepy. And I remember having nightmares as a kid from that movie. Yeah. What do you think, Alex?
So my number 9 is Batman Forever.
Wow,
dude. Okay, the first argument starts.
Wait. Let me state though. Yeah. All these movies I love besides 10. So this movie I love. I would give this movie a solid like 8.5. Oh, so I love this movie. It's just I don't like it quite as much as the rest.
Sure.
And so I think the only thing is Jim Carrey's Riddler just didn't do it for me. Okay. I'm not saying I didn't like it, but it just didn't hit the spot. And so that was the only reason I would probably put it lower than the other ones. Okay. But I did like how Batman was written in that movie, and I did love the action scenes and the ending scene with Two-Face and Riddler. That face-off was pretty cool. I don't know. I just don't think it hits the spot. But, yeah, that's my opinion.
Totally.
I haven't watched it in a fat minute, so I can't elaborate too much more.
Sure. Forever. Seriously.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
That actually shocks me.
I loved Val Kilmer as Batman. Oh, yeah. He's like one of my favorites. Oh, yeah. That's...
I never said I didn't like it.
No, totally.
Yeah, I like Val's Batman was pretty good. But I think it's the villains. I think the villains for the Batman movies really make it for me.
Who played Two-Face?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones.
He was one of my favorite actors.
The Men in Black guy, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So there was big controversy between him and Jim Carrey. As a quick note, he felt like he had to one up Jim Carrey because he felt that he just needed to earn it more because Jim Carrey was getting really popular at that time, and his prowess was rising. So Tommy Lee Jones was like, I need to out camp Jim Carrey. Is like what
hubris.
Happened.
Hubris, and then you're a pink. You're pink. Yeah. Walsh, give us your 8.
My 8 is Batman Returns.
Okay.
Also, this is actually one of my favorite Batman movies. I love how, like you guys said, how Tim Burton is, how dark it is. Penguin, Catwoman, just the atmosphere and the environment in that movie is outstanding. So, I don't know. I think my favorite part of Forever, like I said, is the tone of the movie. It's very dark, very Batman, very sad. I don't like my Batman happy. I don't like jokes. I like it dark and emo. And that's Batman. So I think Forever really gets that. I'm sorry, Returns really gets that. Yeah. Also, I think Penguin in that movie is awesome. So yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, my number 8 as well is Batman Returns. I think I enjoy Returns a good heap more than I do 89 because it leans into the stuff I enjoy more, which is the darker aesthetic. I love winter stories, and I think Batman in the snow looks really cool. Like, the way the whole movie looks is great. Also, when I was growing up, this is like one of the ones I could not watch a lot because it's very dark. And I have a lot of like fond memories being like, when am I going to be able to watch this one besides on TV occasionally? So when I was able to watch it, maybe that's part of the reason why I don't enjoy it as much, because I didn't have it on repeat like I did a bunch of other Batman stuff.
Sure.
But at the same time, there's that kind of magic that it's like, I watched it a couple times and I had my fun with it. But yeah, I enjoy Michael Keaton as Batman more than I do Bruce Wayne, and I like the romance with Catwoman. It's not my favorite of the dynamic, but it's just a movie I enjoy, and I don't go back to it very often, but it's there, and I think it's a marked improvement in my opinion. So
yeah, I think that's the thing. I feel like a lot of people don't go back to it a lot.
Yeah,
and it's a good movie. Yeah. I think I share the same opinion with Alex. Like, I love all these movies because I love Batman and his cast of characters. Right, Batman is not complete without his rogues gallery and his sidekicks and everyone. Vicky Vale, the Jim Gordon, Robin, Alfred, Ace, Mr. Fox, right? Yeah. Like, you can't have Batman without all these characters because it just doesn't work, right? Yeah. We all saw Batman and Ninja Turtles, right? Anyway, so it just doesn't work. Anyway, that being said, I also did put at number 8 spot Batman Returns. There we go. We got the 3-peat. We got the turkey. Similar to you guys, I think this is a step up. From Return or from 89 in the right direction. We saw a lot less of the kind of, I'm doing like a hand wingspan
I see what
motion.
you're doing. Yeah,
like kind of like he's like tucked in a cocoon and then opens up. Like, we see a lot less of that in this one and more of like this darker, gritty take of Batman. I felt like if it kept going with Keaton, I feel like it would only, I think it would be like a number 1 spot if it kept going darker and darker, because I think Keaton finally realized that maybe his direction should be darker than the Prince soundtrack one, because 89's awesome and the soundtrack is phenomenal. I still listen to some of the songs, right? Like Bat Dance, it's weird song, but I listen to it all the time.
The Catwoman theme was amazing too.
Yeah, the Catwoman theme is really good, but it's, in my opinion, it is one of my least favorite to watch because I just, for some reason, not really impressed with the Penguin. Yeah. I'm not really, I don't know. I just wasn't impressed as a kid, and when I rewatched it as an adult, I'm just, I'll be real, I turned the movie off halfway through because I just didn't really like it.
Is it DeVito? Is it the character? What is it about it?
As a kid, I just didn't like him because I was just a kid. Your reason for not liking things is just because. Yeah. But it just didn't tickle my fancy as a kid. But I think as an adult, it was DeVito because I've seen him as a comedy icon, and to see him take this dark role where he's biting people's noses off, which is great, but it just kind of deterred me. And I'm like, this is Danny DeVito, like the head of so many memes now, that it's hard for me to envision him as like this dark crime boss that will literally kill you, and he's also like a weird midget penguin hybrid.
Yeah, that's cool. If you don't mind, I'll touch on one more thing I think about the movie. For what I praised it on was being more Tim Burton, but I also think it's its greatest downfall at the same time, because Batman's not a big focus of the movie, and the supporting characters, like in this one, I enjoy them, sure, but like I'm not fiending to see the stuff that he does in the movie. Like it's super dark, and I think that like Batman should be an accessible character for kids of all ages. there should be elements of like terror, but there's also like moments of triumph. I think this movie doesn't have enough of that to where it's not ready to watch for everybody. So that makes me be like, it's like a pretty decent movie, but it's not like what I think of when I think of Batman as a whole.
Yeah.
Like it nails certain elements, but not the whole picture.
Yeah, and that's funny you say that because like now with the most recent Batman movie, I'll argue that's the darkest Batman movie that has ever been on screen.
I was thinking that. I'm like, you said that, but the last Batman movie is darker than this one.
But I have reasons for why I would assert that it does a good job at allowing more people to watch it. I think probably.
Sure. I'd love to hear those when we get there. I'll hit us with a 7.
Yeah.
Snyder Cut Batman. I put that as the number 7.
Wait, BVS or just?
No, just the Snyder Cut. Justice League Snyder Cut.
Okay.
Yeah. The Justice League Snyder Cut is my number 7. I think it's awesome. I think it's a great coming of age story for Batman. I think how he goes from I hate all things superheroes and people that are like stronger than the average man to the world needs these people and we've been blessed to have them. And so it's like a common thing that Deacon and I talk about when we talk about the character Superman. And it's a Batman list, but Batman learns to accept that when he can't do it, Superman can, or people like Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, Cyborg can do it, right? And he realizes something that always makes Batman like, you know, just when you think you met the end of Batman's character, you introduce his sidekicks and the people around him, like the Justice League and stuff. That is when Batman realizes he can't do it alone anymore, that he's not strong enough to fight the people beyond Earth, right? Or even in Earth, right? That, I think, is some peak Batman stuff right there. The reason why I put it kind of on the lower half of the list is I love the Snyder Cut. I'm so happy it came out, but it is so damn long that I probably will never rewatch it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And that makes me really sad that I feel like a lot of what was in the Snyder Cut could have been captured in a Whedon cut size, you know.
Yeah.
If Zack Snyder was able to be on project for that, but I put it there just because it's so long, and it does drag some moments. Like there is a lot of parts that does drag.
Yeah.
And Batman's just not in it as much as I'd like to be. Same thing as Batman Returns. I think in Returns, I meant to say this when we were talking about it, but in Returns, I think Batman's on screen less than Catwoman and Penguin.
I'm pretty sure.
combined.
I think that movie is his least amount of screen time.
Yes.
That he
Sometimes
Yeah.
I don't mind that because I think if you give attention to Batman's rogues gallery more than him, like
Sure.
a lot of comics and video games and movies do, I think it just elevates the time when he is on screen and he does perform.
I mean, I
If
would
the
agree.
villains are done right. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's a fair
like we'll
point,
talk about that further with other movies.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, but that's mine. The Snyder Cut Batman, Justice League Snyder Cut. Alex.
I also at number 7 have Justice League Snyder Cut. Honestly, I agree with everything you said. I think I do like how this Batman realizes his faults and like, I was a little too hasty to kill superheroes in the last one, and now I'm actually going to use them for good. And I think his ability to build a team and to unite the team, I think he's kind of the leader of the team in a way, and I think it really gets the leadership qualities of Batman, right? Which I really liked. But I also do think it's too long and does get boring in time. So. But yeah, I would agree. I would put that 7.
Yeah. I will third that. I also have that there as well. I'm trying to think if you guys kind of nailed on all the things. I think we all agree.
You don't have to
share
like
the
say
same
anything
sentiment.
more. I mean,
I think I'll just say that I really enjoy how much more lively he is in this one. I like a balanced Bruce Wayne where like he can have those more internal like moments where he has to like figure out what's going on inside of him, but also where he can crack jokes a little bit and fill into that playboy side a little more. And I think Ben Affleck does a good job at that. And small moments like the way they cap his character arc from the 2 movies, just like it's a leap of faith, Alfred. Like that stuff's about like Batman to me. Like where he gets on it, and he's ready to ship off, and like doesn't really know what's gonna happen, but he has faith in all these people around him, which is a very Batman thing, where he takes like the weight of the world on his shoulders the whole time, and then he's like, you know what? I need to involve everyone else, or I'm not going to get this done. Like I'm a huge like key part of this machine, but it's not going to get done unless I realize that people around me actually care for me. So I think that's cool, and yeah, we all agree on that one.
Totally. Deke, hit us with 6.
All right, this is a hard one for me to juggle here. My 6 and 5, and I'm gonna say Batman Forever. It's really close between my 5, just because. I'll get to it when I get to 5. But I love Batman Forever. It was one of my most rewatched ones as a kid, because I think out of the first 4, as my list shows, it is my favorite. Because what I was touching on earlier, where I was like, Batman should be the darker part in a light movie, I think this does a good job of accentuating why, because all this stuff is really colorful around him, and it highlights how Batman is. And I don't know if you guys know about like the cut versions of this movie or what deleted scenes, but this movie could have been phenomenal. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm basing some of my reasoning for putting it this high based on footage like that.
Yeah.
Because I think this movie actually sought to like get into the psyche of Bruce Wayne for the first time. Even in the version we got, there's still moments where he's like contemplative about what it means to be that. I think Val Kilmer is honestly the best out of the original actors.
Yes.
Like he is not that he excels particularly in one role or the other, but he does a good job at doing both, in my opinion. And he's just, it's just a lot of like pretty Batman stuff. It's a very just like solid Batman movie, and yeah, I don't know. I've always enjoyed it. It's campy in the right moments, but it's also got a good amount of heart. And I like Robin far more in this movie. I think their relationship is a lot more. There's a lot more care put into this one, and I think some of the things that people don't give this movie credit for are because of Batman and Robin. So it's easier to like shirk the two together and just be like, oh, they're the same. They're like basically the same movie because they got similar suits, and the actors didn't change that much besides Clooney, and
especially for kids, because I don't know about you guys, but I meld the two together in my brain as a kid. Like I go, Dad, can we watch the one with Poison Ivy where Batman kills Two-Face?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
You know.
I did.
Yeah.
That's 2 different movies.
Yeah. So yeah, I enjoy this movie. I always have and I always will, and I think a lot of it's based on I don't know, I guess like failed promises in a way, which is kind of sad, but it's just a fun movie to watch. Like I'd throw this on and be like, oh yeah, I can have a good time with it.
Right? Totally. Yeah. I think here it comes. Here comes the hate, everybody. Here it comes. Ready? Batman Begins at number 6.
Wow.
Oh,
yes.
I am legitimately shocked right now. I know we're still not a visual format, so I'm gonna just tell you guys I jaw dropped.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And I'll tease the next one. My number 5 is Batman Forever. The reason why I put Batman Forever above Begins is because Begins is not paced well. Batman Begins is not a well-paced movie in my opinion. Okay. The first 25 minutes of the movie drag.
Really?
And that's your hook of the movie. That's your hook, right? The amount of times I've heard you guys talk about movies and be like, oh, it just didn't interest me, so I turn it off 20 minutes into the movie. Yeah. The first 20, it's definitely cool and a gripping story, and I'll watch it, but it's just not as exciting as other Batman movies and how they've started. And I think, and like don't get me wrong, I love a change in character. Like that's the whole point of movies. Is superhero movies is to watch a character go from one place to another through a sequence of events, right? And they're changed human, right? But by the end of the first movie, I saw no change in Bruce Wayne. I saw no change in character. I mean, sure, he came in with like a vengeful rage and became like, I got to be more meditated about it. But he did let Ra's al Ghul die. And that technically is breaking the Batman rule, and I know that's a big controversy.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
That technically breaks the rule. It technically breaks the rule, and Christopher Nolan prides himself on his Batman never breaks the rule, and that's a big incongruity right there for me. But that being said, I want to reiterate, I like effing love this movie.
Yeah.
I love it to death. But it just out of the 3, I turn that one on last.
Okay.
I don't.
That's
I would watch the last 2, and then I'd watch Begins.
Oh man, we're gonna have some talk.
But Cillian Murphy, stellar in this movie. Christian Bale taking up the role for the first time.
Yeah.
Fan-freaking-tastic. The actors in the roles themselves, like the way the casting director and Christopher Nolan put, the actors to the characters, the comic book heroes and villains. Oh my gosh. Best job ever. Amazing job. I would almost say best casting in a superhero movie of all time when it comes to Christopher Nolan's trilogy.
Yeah. You have such high caliber actors that are there for like 6 minutes in the movie, and it's like they can head like 10 movies on their own for the last like, decades, but they're just there like very good at picking character roles. Just like, you know what? I don't care. Like, they can take a back seat. They're going to be good for this role.
Right?
And then elevate the other people that don't get as much screen time.
It's so good. And I love it, but it is my number 6.
Yeah. So I think I'll say my opinion on that later. Mm-hmm. But for my number 6, I put BVS. I think as a portrayal of Batman, I did like the portrayal of Batman. I think it was definitely a new take, a much darker, vengeful, and violent Batman.
Killer.
He reminded me of the Arkham Batman in his combat, but not necessarily his tactics and how he killed people. But I did like how he was written. I loved his Bruce Wayne. In fact, I think this is arguably my favorite Batman, his Bruce at least, and even his Batman. I just didn't like how he killed people. I think that does rub me the wrong way, but everything else for his Batman. I think he was the best part of that movie. Yeah, so I'd put 6 but as a movie, I just think it's clunky. It's not very concise. It drags at some points, and it doesn't flow well. And I think there's a lot of inconsistencies, especially why Batman and Superman fight. I mean, Superman didn't even say, "Listen to me, Bruce. Listen." No, he's like, "Nope, I'm just testosterone. I'm just gonna fight you."
He goes,
so I'm
Bruce, you have to. And then he just gets shut and he goes, "Actually, I didn't give a crap. I'm just gonna."
So honestly, at that part, I'm like, okay. And then Doomsday, they just threw him there. Yeah, as a movie, that kind of lost me. But I do love.
They just threw in Doomsday. True.
But I did love it as the iteration of Batman. I love that. But as a movie, I didn't like it, so that's why it's at 6.
Wow. Deacon.
Cool. So we're hitting up number 5 now.
Oh wait.
For me.
Yeah.
So this is interesting because I usually wouldn't lump this in, but I think it is cool because he is the dual protagonist, right? So I would put Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, the Ultimate Edition, because I think we all agree that that's the true version of the movie. I came away. I had one of the best theater experiences of my life because I thought BVS was so funny for all the wrong reasons when I first saw it. And everyone was like, "What'd you think?" Because I saw it early and my friends had to wait a little bit. And I was like, that was a movie. And I was like, but Ben Affleck did a great job. I was like, he was the best part of the movie. And like, I think that's one of the most universal things about a movie in the last couple of years where everyone's like, oh yeah, Ben Affleck did so good. And you know what? I'm so glad that he finally got his due diligence because he was just striking out for a while. Yeah. So, yeah, I like how much Ben Affleck cares about the character. So this is all purely just the Batman stuff that I'm touching on. Yeah. I liked seeing a more grizzled Batman. That's the first time that we'd ever seen that on screen.
Like an old Batman.
Incorporating elements from like some of the most iconic storylines, even if they were just alluded to, was a cool touch. Just stuff like that. The action, seeing Batman move in a way that's more akin to Arkham and stuff that we were used to off the page was fun to see. Even disregarding the brutality of his and how he acted more like the Punisher at moments as opposed to Batman. But I feel a massive leg cramp coming on, so I'm. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
Lift it up.
Oh, dude. Deacon. Explain. Well, close your mouth. Bite your hand or something.
Oh, it's out! Ow!
Oh my god. Dude, the spike. Oh, Deacon.
I'm trying so hard.
Deacon, bite your teeth or something. Bite your lip or something. Bite your hand.
You don't understand.
I don't. Well, I do because I had one a couple episodes ago. But shake it. That's not shaking. That is moving.
Wiggle.
Because it's very tender.
There you go. Wiggle.
You want me to punch it?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. This is really funny. Deacon, the spike in audio. I don't know what we're going to do.
Okay. I'm almost done, sorry.
You want us to cut?
It really hurts, yes.
Cut? Okay. Okay.
Temporary break.
Hey everyone, we'll see what this is like in the post-editing process, but as I'm sure you heard, I had a massive cramp.
It was cataclysmic.
So there was some yelling, there was some groaning and some moaning and such. So anyways,
Where were we?
I was just talking about, I was wrapping up my thoughts on BVS. Yeah, I'm purely just touching on the Batman aspects, but yeah, I enjoy it. It's not my ideal version of Batman, but I like it for what Zack Snyder has, and I think it's cool. Seeing Justice League in hindsight has made me like his portrayal better in BVS because I could see what they were going for more, I could the actual fruition of the character arc was accomplished, and it makes me go back to these and be like, I could see the milestone they were.
So did you not like Batman before Justice League? Like, do you not like that take of Batman?
No, I still enjoyed it. I just have a lot of heavy criticism with it. So
What if he didn't kill?
that would alleviate some things. Yeah, for sure. But there's changes that I really like. I like how he doesn't live in Wayne Manor. I like how it's burned down. I like his relationship with Alfred. There's lots of elements that I enjoy, and then ones that I don't. So I just see it as a different version of the character, and I'd rather have something new than something that's either phoned in or too much like the original, I guess, now that I've had some years away from it. So it's my number 5.
Wow, that's amazing. I think, is it me next or is it Alex next?
That would be you.
Okay. My number 5, you guys know, Batman Forever. The reason why it's number 5, one, it's the first Batman movie I ever watched.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. A little late to the game, but it's the first. When did that one come out?
92?
92.
No, 95. Sorry, 92 was
95.
Returns.
Yeah. Freaking love this movie, guys. I love this movie. I'll say it. I don't mind the goofy Jim Carrey. I do mind the goofy Two-Face. Yeah. That's the biggest of it. But I'll talk about Jim Carrey here. I liked it because at the time every Batman villain was goofy because it was coming from I don't know what year of comics it was, but I just remember the comic books that my dad had of Batman, or my friends had, would show like these colorful depictions of them. And so what you were saying about Batman being black, like his scenery when he's on camera is black, but when it shows, the other guys, it's pinks and greens and reds, and it's really, really cool. And the mind control thing, I love mind control. I have a thing for like the world turns against one person, and like they have to like not kill them, but they have to get past like this army of people. So I like the mind control aspect. But the main reason why I love it so much, well, actually, before I get to that, Val Kilmer, I honestly think is a goated Batman. I think he's the best, like you were saying, best out of the original 3 Batmen in the role. I think his Bruce Wayne is impeccable. I think him and Robert Pattinson are so much alike in their portrayals of the role. There and I just think that it's a beautiful take of like this Shire, still confident and still playboy. But
he put some moves on Chase Meridian.
Nicole Kidman. That's Chase Meridian. That's her name, right? That's the thing I was about to get to. But his suave that he has as Bruce Wayne only makes his suave and swagger as Batman so much cool. Like the jokes that he does make and the weird quips he does have are so slick. Yeah. And like you're saying, Robin in this movie, so amazing. I thought that how he cared for Robin and the origin and stuff with that and everything, I thought it was really beautiful. I believe Robin goes on like a side mission where he pretends he is Batman, or he tells people he is Batman but he's not. I actually thought that was cool. Really weird. The colors and stuff was kind of cool or kind of weird, and just like I am Batman, it was a little weird, but just like the heart behind it, I think what the vision was of the director. Who directed that one?
That was Schumacher as well. That
Schumacher,
was his first one,
right? Schumacher. The way Schumacher directed that, I think, was just I don't know. I think the vision he had, and what makes me like it so much more, is that like he wanted to be Batman, and like he realized he couldn't. Like no one can be Batman. It set the tone. Like no one can be me. Like no one can be Batman. You have to create your own symbol and your own purpose. And like Robin couldn't be Robin because Batman's Batman. Robin has to be Robin because he needs to be Robin. Yeah. He needs to stand up to the same things that Batman stands up for. And the same reason, but does it in an entirely different style, a more carefree, charismatic. And I love that contrast. And that's the first film adaptation of that contrast. So loved it. But the main reason why I love this movie so freaking much is the romantic Batman.
Yes.
Dude.
Yes.
The way that with Chase Meridian, the whole love relationship he has with her is so amazing. I love stories of Batman. Like, that's his biggest weakness, aside from his parents' death, is women. Yeah. And, like, especially when he's in the cape and cowl. Yeah. Catwoman and Chase Meridian and Talia al Ghul, they all have him wrapped around his finger in the cowl. And, like, you know, when he puts on the cowl, nothing can get past him except women, right? Yeah. And so, you know, I really think that's cool. I think the chemistry between Val and or Val Kilmer's portrayal and Nicole Kidman, I think is so good. Some of the best, like, I'll say I've only seen like 3 good romantic chemistries in Batman on screen. Yeah. In my opinion, only 3 times have I seen good chemistry between the female love interest, and I think this is, I'll say it, the second to best one. But yeah, that's why I love the movie Batman Forever.
Sweet.
Okay, are we on 5? Right?
Yeah, 5.
Okay, my number 5 is Batman, Tim Burton. Yeah, I just love Keaton's performance.
This is the 89 version?
Yeah, 89.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite actors of all time is Jack Nicholson. And so there's kind of that bias there, but I think he does a great job at just embodying a Joker that, you know, used to be good, but isn't good. Like, one of my favorite lines from that movie is, like, he says, "I'm crying inside, but I can't stop laughing." I don't remember how exactly he said it, and he walks out. That's one of... That line sticks in my brain. Yeah. Like, dude, that he's suffering inside, but he's laughing and doing all this evil. And, like, that is what Joker is to me. And I think he embodied a great Joker before Heath. And just the way... I mean, that ending is very dark and very... a good fight scene. I mean, he did put a grapple on Joker's leg and hang him to a guardrail, I don't know, right, and basically kill him. But overall, I thought it had some good comedy in it. It was a well-made movie, and one of my favorites. So,
and the soundtrack, right?
And the soundtrack and the directing, amazing. Tim Burton.
Totally. All right, Alex, hit us with our number 4.
Okay,
here we go, guys.
Number 4 is Batman Begins.
So, I know your list already. I can already see it in my head, Alex.
Me too.
Batman Begins. So, I actually loved the first 30 minutes of Batman Begins. My favorite part of Batman Begins was the beginning. I felt that him going into prison to learn the criminal mind, from a billionaire to go into prison, to go into the slums and really understand the criminal mind, is just a great aspect of Batman. Like, really understanding how criminals work, because I felt like Batman needs to understand how to prey on criminals and hunt them down. And I love that aspect of the movie. And I do agree with you. I think the character development is very poor. I feel like this Batman is just Batman right away, and he's just. I
think a lot of it off screen is the problem.
Yes,
good
we
point,
can
see that the development was there. We just don't actually.
Because there's that. It's the montage. Yeah. Of him getting arrested and in China, right?
Yeah. And when he throws the gun away.
When he throws the gun away, right? Yeah. But understanding the criminal mind, I actually disagree. It's not shown well in the movie. He understands Ra's al Ghul's mind in the League of Assassins, but he doesn't understand like the thugs that he fights daily. You don't. Well, I mean, it's alluded to, right?
He doesn't show it.
Right, but it doesn't show it. And so, anyway, keep going.
Yeah, and I think that's an issue with the movie. Is it doesn't show his development. I feel like he's just a good Batman right away. He doesn't really have any big mess ups right away. He's just kind of a badass right away, and it doesn't even show. Yeah, like you said, it doesn't really show him understand the criminal element. But it is stated, and because of that, I think the first 30 minutes is amazing. And I think the action scenes are. I would arguably say I like the action scenes in this one a little bit more than Rises. Now, there are great action scenes in Rises, but I think the graphics in Begins are a little better. And yeah, I love how Gordon shoots down the train and Batman leaves Wish to die. I like that scene. So
that is a good scene.
I loved it. I definitely can see though that there's not great development in the character. I think he's just kind of Batman right away, and that's the only critique I would have of that movie though. And Liam Neeson does amazing as Rish.
Yes. The cast is, what is it? Who plays Gordon?
Oh, I don't know his name.
Oldman.
Yep.
Gary. Yeah. Great casting. Yeah. Anyway, hit that.
All right, this is where my list is entering the upper echelon of some of my favorite movies of all time, not even just Batman. Mm-hmm. So a lot of these could switch any given day, as I'm sure a lot of you guys could probably test with that. But for where I'm feeling today, at my number 4 slot, I put The Dark Knight Rises.
What?
Dude, wait. Okay.
Yeah. And this is one of my most, I don't want to say conflicted movie, like superhero movies, but this movie has possibly my favorite Batman moments out of all of the movies. But as a movie overall, it doesn't come to the heights or what I enjoy about the other ones just as much.
That makes sense.
I love how emotionally charged this movie is. Every single time this movie wants you to feel heartbroken or I don't know, encouraged, or like any single scene that, like, because this movie elicits so many different feelings, it just captures that, whether that be what I probably consider the best score that Hans Zimmer did for the trilogy. At least a lot of my like, I would say, like, the stuff that he remixes and the new music is just pitch perfect the whole movie. And when I came out of the theater, I was like, this is like the best movie I've ever seen. And it was, I specifically remember seeing it in theaters and being like, this might be the moment I finally cry watching a movie, because we all know what happens towards the end. And just, it has like this is like one of my favorite endings, just purely watching it out of a movie, like, ever. Even if some of the logistical stuff doesn't really make sense and there's inconsistencies and plot holes and stuff, I feel like I enjoy this movie for I feel like a lot of my criticism come from the overthinking or like actually critiquing. But when I look at this movie broadly, I'm like, I love it. It could be my favorite one. But then when I actually am like forced to come down to what I enjoy more, I put this one lower. But it's my favorite that Bruce is in the whole trilogy. I think his character arc is phenomenal. A lot of it.
I think he's in the movie more than Batman himself. Right?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think it's Bale's best performance. I love Bane. He has probably one of my favorite villain quotes of all time.
Which is?
Oh, just all of them. All of his quotes. Like, he's like one of the first people in like movie history where I was like, I want to learn all of his lines. And that's always.
I was born in the darkness, molded by it.
I had to. I'll see how that transfers over on Mike.
Yeah. But I love this movie so much. I'm sure that we can, touch on it a little bit more when we all discuss this part. But yeah, that's just my that's my outline.
This is 4?
Yeah, that's my 4.
Gotta go with BVS Ultimate Edition. I love this interpretation of Batman. The interpretation of Superman, not so much. It kind of fell off. Yeah, I really wanted this to be a Superman 2, and that's what I think we all thought it was. But it was kind of a wish-washy of a team-up movie. But I love that Batman kills, and I know that rubs people so wrong, but I really like it. It's never been seen before, like, to this canonized fruition, Like, we see a lot of one-off comic stories and animated stories of Batman killing people, but this, like, it's not even him being like, hey, I'm gonna kill you. It's like, I'm gonna do my best to defend myself and make sure you're in pain, and I don't care if you die. Like, that's what's gonna happen. Like, like, it's not like he's like, I'm gonna meditate. He's not meditating on killing the guys when he's in the Batmobile, right? I think of that scene when I think of The Killing, right? Yeah. Is when he's in the Batmobile.
Oh yeah,
shoots
totally.
a 50 cal at him, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And then proceeds to drive through it 60 miles an hour.
Right. Exactly. But I don't think like, he's like thinking like kill time.
Yeah.
He where a lot of people will be like, what's the difference between him and the Joker now, or him and his rogues gallery? He's just killing them. There is a separation in that movie, and it's clear, and it's because he like it's just like he only knows one way, and it's more this Batman and this killing version of Batman is more plausible than any Batman ever, because childhood trauma affects you, and the sins of like the father become the sins of the son, but also like what you see as a kid comes to light when you are an adult.
And also imagine the things he's seen.
Right, imagine the things he saw as a kid. And so when his parents die, what do you think he's gonna do, right? His first instinct is gonna kill people, to defend people, right? Because he saw, that's the most direct and plausible way. So for me, in my head, when I watch it, I'm like, this makes perfect sense, and I love the direction they're going. The up until in my opinion, the Batman, this is the darkest version of Batman.
Oh yeah.
At the time, the whole sex trafficking scene. When he looks funny.
He looks
on the
weird
wall,
on that shot.
But for some reason I loved it. I'm like, yes, that's like a weird, like it's like scary weird. Like I look at it, I'm like, that like is sending like weird vibes in my body. Like it's weird, but like It's like midsummer weird. It's uncomfortable weird.
Yeah.
Yes, and he's torturing.
Yes, so cool. Like Alex, I know you love the darkness, so like it's so good. But I just think it's great. I think him fighting Superman was badass.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that fight was so cool. I don't care what you say about the motives or anything. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I think Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne, I'll say, is the best interpretation of Bruce Wayne in my opinion. That's just my own thought. But I think just this grizzled, more matured version of Bruce Wayne that really doesn't have in this movie we didn't really see a lot of the hey, like you're great, but also remember your parents are dead from like his peers, like the other rich people. Like it was more of like, oh Bruce, good to see you. It wasn't like, oh Bruce, you have your mother's eyes, or you're like your father.
Yeah.
Like he was his own person.
Yeah, he was his own person, and
that's a good touch.
He's not too goofy either. He's
Well, yeah, because like he's killing people in the night, right? Like he's dealing with sex traffickers, and you see that like where Bruce Wayne, and let me read this again. I love every single one of these Batman movies, and I love every interpretation of it. It has built me, like as funny as it sounds, Batman has built me into the man I am today. Like he's a piece of that puzzle that is Braxton, and so I think. But when I look at Bale's Batman, Bale is cracking jokes every now and again. And I'm like, I don't think you could do that as a human. Yeah. You could go and beat someone to a pulp and like break a criminal's leg that has no medical insurance and like basically you're gonna kill them, right? And go
or send them into massive debt.
Yeah, and send them into massive debt that will literally kill them.
Dead, yeah.
The debt will kill them, right? Because they'll go to the mob and then they'll die, right? In that universe, right? But there's. That's not realistic to me, but with Ben Affleck, him being like, yeah. Some people are like, oh, it's awkward and weird, but no, what do you think when you're beating people to death? Yeah. Like, what do you think when you're having to overcome, what is he, 40 in that movie?
Oh, yeah, he's in his 40s.
Yeah, he's in his 40s. Yeah. He's like rearing the end of his career, man. Like, what do you expect? Yeah. He's seen, I don't know, 30, 20 years of being Batman, right? Yeah. And beating these lowlifes to a pulp. And my last thing I'll say about it is I love how it establishes, we don't see a lot of his rogues in BVS. I don't think we see any, right?
In the extended version, no, that's just like when we see Deathstroke. What movie is that?
Yeah. That's Justice League.
But
we don't see any of his rogues, but you do see the allusions to him, like the Robin, the Robin, being the biggest one, and some of the other Easter eggs. But the way that Alfred and him talk is like, the rogues aren't there to like piss him off. Like they do what they do because they're afraid of this version of Batman. Because this version of Batman like is like, I'm gonna kill him. I'm just gonna kill him if they get in the way, right? And that's what Batman wants to do in all the other interpretations. Is I would love to kill the Joker, but
you can't.
I can't. But anyway, let's get on to this one because this is our longest episode right now.
Is it?
Hour 23, I think. This is our longest episode. This is going to be a long one. I expected this because Walsh is like our best friend. So.
Oh, goodness.
I mean, I'll hit this number 3 right here. Yeah. Or did you share your number 4? Did I want to share your number 4?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Okay, number 3, The Dark Knight Rises. This one, I'll be real, guys. I changed 2 and 3 back and forth.
Really?
Twice during this episode because I was thinking about them.
It's hard.
And whether or not that's breaking the rule of not this.
No, I think that's fair.
Yeah. But Rises, I put it 3 because it didn't have the same cultural impact as I think the other 2 did. Yeah. Begins had a massive impact because it was the first iteration of Batman since I believe George Clooney, right?
Yeah, since Batman and Robin.
Since Batman and Robin. So you come off like the worst Batman movie. 6 years later, they come out with one of the best Batman movies of all time, Begins. And it was completely reworked, completely different. And so, but when you enter Rises, it enters this beautiful closing of an arc. You end on a fall of a hero in Dark Knight. And he truly does rise at the end of the movie. And he rises that, when we think of rise in a hero context, we think, he rises to the occasion and he rises to become something better, and that is the best version of a superhero. But in actuality, he rises to become something better, and that is just being a normal man.
Yeah.
Is being a normal man. And it's like, I agree.
It's
I
just so
cried.
good.
My father,
Yeah.
I think, I can't remember. You know, you'll probably correct me when you next see me, Dad. If
That's
you
the
tear.
editor's job.
That's the editor's job. But it's such a beautiful arc, and my only nitpick with, or a couple nitpicks with it, is in the beginning of the movie, there's a lot of back and forth between location, and like different point of views. It has the Stranger Things problem where Stranger Things splits their team up into 4 different sections of storytelling, and some are more interesting to listen to and watch, and some are less. So like we had Bruce Wayne becoming Batman again, Jim Gordon and this new Robin character, and then those trying to merge. That's another facet. And then we had Bane off doing whatever in freaking Gotham and Nicaragua, right, or something like that. I can't remember. And then we also, I don't know, that's really it. But it just kind of took me in a lot of different directions. Yeah. That I'm like, no, come back together, come back together like the other two. Yeah, and so it really confused me there. And just, I love Anne Hathaway, one of the best actresses in all of Hollywood. But I just think the chemistry between Bale and Anne Hathaway is a little robotic and like a little like, it's just like kind of gross to watch. Just, like the scene where Batman goes, "No killing," right? Yeah. And then she goes, "Where's the fun in that?" Like, ugh. Yeah. Oh, dude, it makes me want to peel my skin off. Like, I just don't like their relationship.
Yeah, for a version of Batman that's so set on like wanting to actually retire and live a life, it feels wrong that that's who he ended up with. Yes. Like on paper, great. Just their interactions do not hit.
Yeah, because she wasn't at the same point in their journey, right? If Catwoman was like, "I'm looking for a way out," you know, she wasn't. She was looking to clean her slate to continue to thieve more.
Yeah, it's like she just settled. She's like, "Yeah, he's cool."
Yeah, he's cool. Like, "Oh, he's like, kind of a gold digger." Yeah, I'll say it right now. Catwoman in Rise is a gold digger.
Yep.
Yeah, she take my money.
And she scored, so.
And she freaking scored on Italy or Bama.
Yeah.
All right, Alex, let's see it. Number 3.
Let's see. It's also Rises, so no surprise there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys both hit off points for Rises. I think some of my most irritating parts of Batman are in that movie. Like, why are they doing this? Some of the dumbest plot lines are in the movies. But the high I got the first time I watched that, I can't explain. I literally had goosebumps, and I said that was the best movie ever. Yeah. And I've watched it like 100 times, and I still feel that way. When I see the ending, and you say Bane just walking with his hands on his chest, and Batman walking with the cops, and that just the bad versus good versus evil.
So good. Freaking, he doesn't get enough credit. Doesn't get enough credit. I think we can all agree that Bane has such a great freaking villain.
100%.
And he just doesn't get enough credit.
Tom Hardy killed it. Just the amount of goosebumps I have watching that movie, just so many. So I think that's why it's 3. I also really liked Jim Gordon in this movie. I think the hopelessness and the grasping for hope when Batman is gone, I think is great. I think that he had good character in that movie. Like I said, Bane. Arguably, I can't decide between him or Heath Ledger what performance I like, but it's head to head. It's really close. That is amazing. I think the pacing is amazing. I think the feeling of hopelessness you get when that fight when Bane breaks his back is just
with no music. That is one of the best scenes in superhero cinema.
Yes.
Just left
top
hopeless.
3. Top 3.
It's so good.
And in who's the younger cop? What's his Blake?
Oh, Blake Robin.
Yeah.
John Blake.
And how he's putting Batman signs all over the city. Yeah, that's cool. Awesome.
Wait, I have a question for you, Alex.
What?
And Deacon, too. Do you guys think, because this is my thing, I like Blake Robin, or John, John Blake? Yeah. John Blake. I like him in the movie, but I don't think he needs to be there.
Oh,
you could take him out and the movie plays the same, just Bruce Wayne motivates himself and not Blake Robin.
Yeah.
John Blake Robin.
But I don't think it killed the movie.
No, he's just kind of there. Like, I'm like cool with him being there. He doesn't add much.
He's
and he
definitely
doesn't
a side character, but
it is a beautiful scene when he like realizes that, you know, these kids on the bus are gonna die at the end of the movie, and he's like, "Okay, everybody on the bus, we're gonna go the other way." Like,
or
giving them hope. That's like what
Batman
does.
He's like, "Don't be a coward."
Yeah.
Dude,
that's
he had some really good scenes, like when he's talking to the police about letting the kids not die. So this is like probably the first superhero movie I've ever cried in. It wasn't when the plane blew up. That didn't make me cry. what made me cry is when Alfred goes to the grave and he says, "I failed you," and he starts crying. He's like, "I failed you, Bruce." That I cried, dude. I'm like,
I get chills.
This is heartbreaking. That's someone he's loved since he was a little boy, and he's felt like he failed him.
It's his father. It's his father.
Yep, that was heartbreaking. It's the most emotional Batman out of this list, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
It's the most emotional. So, I mean, there's days where I can put this one. Thinking about how emotional it gets me.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I agree. Because
and just embodies the sacrifice Batman stands for.
Dude, this makes me want to watch Batman now.
I'm getting hyped right now.
I know.
I don't know.
For reference, for you guys listening, Batman is like, if not the number one hero for all of us, then the number two.
Yeah, he's
hero
always
for
up
all
in the top.
He's always in the top 3, top 2 for all of us.
But yeah,
that's great.
Enough of that. That's my number 3. So.
Dude, we could go on for hours. Dude, we're literally at 1:30 right now, dude.
Dude, all of it's gonna be Batman.
Dude, Marcus is supposed to be here in literally 1 minute. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Well, yeah. So am I at number 2 now?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. I'm not gonna cop out. But I can say that.
Wait, did you say your 3? Mm-hmm. What was it?
Oh wait, never mind. I'm at number 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I started off.
I think it's just because I already talked about it a little bit. Yeah. But
you can do a little recap.
Yeah, I'll do this one really quick because I've already laid out some of my notes. But Batman Begins is my number 3. It's my favorite origin story for a superhero on film, probably, besides maybe Spider-Man by Raimi. Christian Bale is my favorite actor overall to play both sides of the character. The way the movie tracks with his character. I know we talked about some of his journey and how it could have been better in places, but just being able to live with him, I think it's something that wasn't really done for a lot of movies besides maybe like Superman the movie and seeing his life progress in the way that happens, but being able to like truly connect. And this was a movie that launched like Batman even into another stratosphere, because like I think the cool parts of Batman were really captured in the aesthetics of all the movies that came prior to this, which is like, he has the Batmobile and Robin's cool, and he has like wacky
gadgets
villains,
and
But this was like, let's get into the psychology of Batman now, and like this, like what always sticks out to me, ever since I was like 14 or 15, and started thinking about movies a little more critically. This one of my favorite YouTubers talked about the scene where he talks about building a whole persona. And the way Bruce is on the plane, he's like, this is what I'm going to be. Like, I have to be, like, I have to embody this. I have to be a symbol, which carries on beautifully throughout the whole trilogy. Yeah. And that's one of my favorite Batman scenes. It really gets to the heart of the character. Scarecrow's probably my favorite Batman villain besides the Joker, because I feel like that has to be everybody's favorite in somewhat way or another. Cillian Murphy, as we talked about, was great.
That was great. I forgot about that.
The twists, it's just a great movie, and I feel like I've already said everything I've felt about it before. So
boom. Okay, that's good too.
I believe should we say the number 1 and then we talk about a number 2? Because we say the number 2 and it gives away our number 1.
Yeah.
Let's Deacon, you want to lay us?
Okay, so I'll just get into what I was gonna say. I feel like I'm gonna cop out and not cop out at the same time, because I did choose a number 1 and a number 2, but it could switch. And my favorite Batman movie. My favorite Batman movie is The Batman.
Yes!
And it has to be. It
has to be.
The Dark Knight is my second favorite Batman movie. I might prefer it as a movie more because you wanted to tell the story to him real quick.
Who were we with?
We were with Steven at dinner one night. Yeah. But we were playing rapid fire questions.
Yeah, and I asked his favorite Batman movie, and he's like Dark Knight, and he said, and he looked at me and laughed and then didn't say anything. So that was your instant reaction without thinking. So I don't know.
We don't act
Deacon.
on instinct.
I'm saying it's not that reliable if that's your answer.
But the Batman.
Well, you have saturated the movie. No, I'm joking. Your love for the film has ruined it. No, I'm joking.
So yeah, number 1 for me at this moment as a Batman movie is The Batman. And I don't know if that's recency bias. I would lean towards it not. I've thought about this movie a lot. Sure. It's the movie I've seen the most in theaters. You have an
unreleased video about it.
Oh, yeah. I know. I really need to release that YouTube video at some point. But I just love it. There was at least 4 or 5 moments in this movie that I was like, that's just Batman to me. And that's like what I've always thought about Batman. Just definitive things. Robert Pattinson... it's gonna be an underrated role, because I feel like people are giving him props. They're like, oh, he's not Twilight Boy, but I feel like that's kind of the general public. And I think as the years go on and the trilogy comes into its own, he's gonna become more appreciated. And I really, really hope he gets into that tier list of Robert Downey Jr. and like for some people, like Tom Holland, like being synonymous with a character.
Yeah.
Or like you're gonna think of Chris Hemsworth when you think of Thor, because that's one.
Right.
That's
Or
the
how
only person
Bale is Batman.
Yeah. So I really hope he gets to that tier at some point. And that's my opening statement for that.
Yeah.
It's just what I think of when I think of Batman.
My number one is also the Batman. I think it, like Deacon says, it embodies everything I think of Batman. And something shame on me for that. Something I think of when I think about these two movies is that it truly gave me everything I wanted in a Batman movie. It gave me the romance. It gave me the darkness that at points, if I wasn't who I was today, I would look away. Like if I wasn't a Batman fan, I would look away, or I'd flinch, right? But my eyes were glued to the screen the entire time. This is probably the movie that I've paid to see the most. I think I went 4 times, maybe 5. 4. We'll go 4 to play safe. I'll undersell myself. But went 4 times to see this movie, and I think movie tickets were like $12.
Yeah.
So that's
$14 here, I think.
Yeah, $14 here now. Freaking Meridian. Anyway.
Crappy theater.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If we had more time, I'd say we could just trash on them for a bit, but no, I'm joking. But yeah, it's amazing. The characters, just like how Nolan killed the character and actor placement. Colin Farrell, the gal that plays Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano. Paul Dano remains Hollywood's secret weapon.
Really.
And he continues to pop off. Robert Pattinson, I love that everyone hated the idea of him being it. He did the Heath Ledger.
He did.
Everyone was like, no one wants Heath Ledger to be the Joker or Ben Affleck.
Yep.
And then Ben Affleck has a more controversial praise for the role. Yeah. Like people love him, but there's people that don't like him, right? In Batman, right?
People did not want Ben Affleck to be.
Yeah. But like even after the fact, people didn't like it still. Yeah. But with Heath Ledger, everybody loved that. Yeah. Everybody loved it. He won an award, right? He won
posthumous. He won Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, Best Supporting Actor, right? Yep. And he embodied the most daring role. Yeah. I would say in Hollywood, the most daring role, because it's got the Hollywood curse, right? The death curse on it. But it's the most daring role to play because it's so emotionally all over the place. But Robert Pattinson, I think Batman is also emotionally all over the place, right? As Stonewall, he is, and as stoic as he is, he's emotionally all over the place. And I would say this is actually the most emotional Batman movie because of the emotions you can see on his face and how Batman fails in this movie. You never see Batman fail. You see him lose, but you don't see him flunk. When he's solving the riddles and he goes, pigeon. Yeah. That's a flunk. He flunked that. No, it's a bat.
It's a big one. It sets it back 25 minutes of the runtime.
I think more than that, maybe. Right? Yeah, I think.
They talk about it.
That's like at the end of the beginning part of Act 1, and it's the whole Act 2 is him riding on this pigeon thing, and then he catches the penguin at the end of Act 2, and he's like, "Oh damn it, it's a bat! Whoopsie, my bad." Yeah. Like the penguin had to tell him that. And I just think the hype around it, the soundtrack, introducing Nirvana. Even before this movie, I associated Kurt to Batman, right? His style of music and stuff. Rest in peace, But, I could talk about that movie for hours, man. I love everything about the Batman. I cannot wait for the second one. It successfully merged reality and logic and comic book vibe because, I don't know, just the Riddler being smarter, I just can't see that happening in Bale's universe. Yeah. It's just too real life logic. Yeah. And I could see I'm pretty sure Matt Reeves was talking about Clayface for the second one, and he mentioned he would like to do Mr. Freeze, right? We all know that, but it was maybe a month ago there was some or not Matt Reeves, but the writer of the second movie mentioned he would love to see Clayface, or something about
that's cool.
Clayface,
that's cool.
Right? How does that work logically? It doesn't need to. In this Pattinson universe and the Reeves verse, right? It can work. Alex, let us all down.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I think I would probably say the exact opposite of you guys. I think as a movie, I definitely enjoyed the Batman more. I think it totally.
Whoa, really?
it totally fits my type of movie.
Sure.
It's mysterious. It's a murder mystery. It's very dark. There's justice themes all over. There is so many good character elements. There's no, it's not jokey or dumb. It's Batman, and it's a dark movie. It's noir-like. It's very police heavy, and I love police action. So it's a better movie, in my opinion. And I think as a movie, I'd rather see the Batman.
Wow.
But as a Batman movie, and when I think of Batman, and maybe that's because I was obsessed with the Nolan trilogy growing up, Dark Knight, and I don't know if it will ever get beat, because I remember when The Dark Knight came out, my dad's like, oh, you can't, he didn't let me go to see it in the movie theater because of how dark it was. He's like, it's too dark, you can't see
My
it.
dad took me to the 1 a.m. That's when it was still 1 o'clock premieres. I fell asleep watching that movie, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, my dad's like, nope. So I had to wait a whole year in anticipation for that movie. And then I watched it, and that was like the best thing since, I don't know, Peanut and Jelly.
Dang,
But yeah, I think just the way Christopher Nolan, by the way, he's my favorite producer or director. Yeah, the way he gets inside the mind of Batman, the way he gets inside of the dilemma he faces, the really, do I choose to turn myself in or do I let people die? Yeah. That dilemma, and it's just destroying his soul. And he's like, Alfred, I can't do this. And Alfred's like, this is what you're meant to be. You're not supposed to be a hero. You're supposed to serve justice at whatever cost. I think just how it gets inside of his mind, I think the Batman doesn't do that yet. At least not as good as that one did. And that's also because it's the second movie, so I had another movie to build off on. And also, just the dichotomy between Heath Ledger's Joker and this Batman, the complete opposites of the same coin. They both have trauma. I'm assuming Heath Ledger had some traumatic experience. And one decided to destroy and choose chaos, a better form of criminal, and one decided to protect people. And just the way the yin and yang of Batman and Joker, I think, was so good in that movie that elevated it. The acting for Two-Face was amazing. I don't know. I think when I think of Batman, I think of that movie. And that ending when it's like he's a Dark Knight and he goes off, amazing. Yeah. So that's one for me.
Yeah, I'll touch on The Dark Knight for just a brief moment. For a while here, when people ask me what my favorite movie was, I was like, I'll say Dark Knight. Because I feel like, I've talked about it a little bit before. I don't have, like, a favorite movie, but I've gone through seasons where I've told people that, and
favorite movie of all time?
Yeah, I used to say, like, Dark Knight for a while.
Sure.
And I think something that is cool, like, when comparing the Batman and the Dark Knight, is the Batman is, to piggyback off what you said, does a great job at blending, like, the realistic side with the comic book in, like, such a cool way that's, like, from one scene is so, like, could take place, like, in this room right now, and then another scene is, like, that's, like, straight off the page. I think when I think of the Batman, it's really cool because that's such a grounded story, but everything around it's so heightened in the world. Yeah. And I feel like that's the opposite for the Dark Knight, because the way it's shot and, like, the scope of the movie is so big. Yeah. But it's just like a mobster tale with Batman, and I think that's, some of the best Batman stories are always like that. And the movie does such a good job with, like, the amount of events that are in the Dark Knight are enough for one trilogy, and the pacing is so like laser like focused that you do. I don't know how. There's so many villains. There's like 5 different acts, like screenplay people that like dissect things, or like 3-act structure. That's the normal. But then people
this is a 4 and a half.
It's like
right?
4 or 5 act. Like people are like you can debate it, and that it just revolutionized the way superhero movies have been. Everyone just knows it's Dark Knight.
Yeah. So. Sure. Look at the. I don't want to. Do you have anything else to say on the Dark Knight or?
Nah, that's.
Yeah, but what I was gonna say, and maybe this could just round out the superhero discussion, or the Batman discussion, but the Dark Knight showed the world that a superhero movie, the Batman Begins, like, brought the eyes of the viewer to superhero movies, but it showed that they can be consistent, and that they can tell. Sorry, I'm kind of sitting behind the microphone. That they can tell. Compelling and emotional stories, in that they can be that long. Like, I don't think Avengers would be as long as it was if it wasn't for the Dark Knight being like, you know what, I'm gonna make a long ass movie, and just when you think it's over, nope, I just got detective vision. I got satellite phone vision, and then that's like the freaking 5th act, and I'm like, Like, I literally thought I was sleeping. Like, I literally woke up in the middle of that scene. Like, I fell asleep right when all the criminals got on the boat. Yeah. And then I woke up, and he's in the building going with his eyes, right? And I'm like, what the... Dad! You know? But, yeah. It's just... It's a great story. It is a great dual relationship. You see as in Batman Begins, Bruce and Batman are one. And in this one, you see them as two separates. Batman is kind of leaning towards the cowl more than than a real life, right? And I think just that being the middle movie makes the other two a lot better as well. It makes everything that Robert Pattinson did in his movie, which I put at number 1, you know, all the more better. Like, I don't think we could have gotten a dark Pattinson movie like the Batman if it wasn't for The Dark Knight. I think also, we haven't talked about it at all, but the Harvey Dent.
Oh, yeah.
Just him before Two-Face, because I wish there was a little bit more Two-Face, I'll be honest. I wish he was in a little bit longer, and it wasn't just like him, you know, like checking into a bar and be like, who's the driver, Rachel?
Yeah, I wish he was in Rises.
Yeah, me too. He could have ended his story there in Dark Knight, right? And then it could have picked up again in the beginning of Rises, and it could have capped off. Versus, what was in the beginning of Rises? Oh, Catwoman stealing the pearls, which was cool, but not Anne Hathaway's not. Anyway, but it's just great. Heath Ledger's great. You guys really said it all, but Batman's an awesome character, guys.
Oh yeah, we just talked for well over an hour, and I feel like we didn't even scratch the surface in a way. You know, we've had this talk like millions of times, but it's good to finally have it recorded.
Yeah, whenever we bring up Batman, we can talk about it for hours.
Truly. Yeah. Well, Alex, is there anything you wanted to say to anyone or while you're on air? I'm sure you'll be on again. You're our roommate next year, and you're our best friend. Yeah. So.
I'm gonna shout out some places that like mean a lot to me in my childhood. I'll do 3 for now. Okay. I'd say Fondies, because I think ever since I was a little kid, I think we went to Fondies for like birthdays, for everything.
Good. Such good pizza.
Second is Galaxy, because I'm a big movie guy. So, and I think third is Kelowna, Canada, which is where I grew up my first 3 years of living, and I've been back there quite a few times to see family.
Are you going back with Taya?
Not Kelowna.
Oh, okay.
Victoria.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Kelowna is also a town like Gig Harbor, where it's right by the water, and that's where I first learned to swim. I remember a vivid memory of my dad putting a life jacket on me and just throwing me off the deck and saying, "Good luck."
Here you go.
And then I don't know. But I still remember that. But
dude,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Those are 3 locations that still mean a lot to me.
That's so great. Deacon, anything else you want to say?
Oh no, man! I'm just on a high right now. I'm with my favorite people. We just talked about some great stuff.
I know, dude.
I hope everyone enjoys the content, and thanks for continuing to support us.
It is 9:40, and I'm wide awake.
I am too.
I'm about to go freaking run through a brick wall. But before we do that, gotta close it out. Thank you guys for watching. Nobody's watching the podcast where we go to you and interview people like you, see what makes you tick, what you think about, and what you love. Alex, thank you for being on the show.
Of course, thank you guys.
Yeah, of course, man. Stay tuned for the next episode. We got our guest lined up. Oh, actually, we know who the next guest is. Before we head out, what do you think of Josue Ochoa? 2 words.
2 words.
2 words? Okay.
Be kind.
Hilarious and caring.
There we go.
There you go.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.
Bye.